All right, so this is a video that is for, well, it's for everybody. This video is for the lawmakers for this project, and it's also for anybody that wants to watch this project and is curious about it. I'm going to try to make this short, and it's mostly going to be about the future of the project. But just a really quick recap for anybody that doesn't know. So here's a website I'm putting together for this project. It's a society project. This says, this project is building a hypothetical society from scratch. And so essentially, there's also a mission statement that you can read. This is on the home page. It's really short. But essentially, I got about 30 to 40 of the people I talked to on my YouTube channel slash podcast about politics, veganism, morality, all these different things. I got a group of people, and essentially, we 30-ish people are calling ourselves the lawmakers of this hypothetical society, and we're just acting as if there's a land full of a ton of people, and you can imagine it's in any country. For the layout, we're kind of using the U.S., but it's imagining that if there are no laws whatsoever, what would we want to create? And essentially, what would we want to make our own country look like law-wise? And so that's what the project is, and you can check out what it becomes as we grow it. On the side here, there's home, which is where we're at right now. There's current laws, lawmakers, and voting process. So current laws, if you go here, this is something where we all have voted on these topics, and we have 15 laws that kind of came in place. We outlawed a handful of things. I think it was 10 things. We legalized 3 things, which, in a sense, for this project, the legalizing doesn't even make any sense because if there was no law against these things, we don't need to legalize it. But we are comparing it to our current societies, depending on where you live, legalizing things like marijuana use or assisted suicide. There were 2 things that we voted on that did not pass. Okay, so the future of voting for this project is going to be any lawmaker that wants to propose a law can propose a law, and it can be one that we've already talked about or haven't. So, like right here, we have that we've outlawed abortion after 12 weeks gestation. And so, if there's a lawmaker in here that wants to hopefully convince other lawmakers to change it to, say, like 20 weeks, then they can propose that we vote on it to change it to 20 weeks. Now, there's a details button here. You click on the details button, and this tells you the detail of the law. So it says abortion ban. No abortions with the intention of killing a fetus are allowed after 12 weeks gestation. And then there's a date. And then there's a vote breakdown. So what we did here is we had options. We had it to where somebody could vote if they wanted to make it illegal for abortion at conception, illegal at 12 weeks, illegal at 20 weeks, or not illegal at all. And so out of the 30 people that voted, we had 3 said conception, 10 said sentience, 7 said viability, like 20 weeks, and 7 said don't ban it at all, and then 3 were undecided. So if one of the people that wanted it to be viability or not banned at all wanted to propose that we vote on viability again, like instead of voting where everybody can just put their preferred one out of these 4, if it was just put to a vote where all 30 lawmakers could say yes or no to the law changing it to viability instead of 12 weeks, changing it to 20, then what would happen is a likelihood is the 7 people that want it to be not banned at all would rather it be bumped to viability than to be at sentience. So rather 20 weeks than 12 weeks. And so it could be beneficial for these people to want to propose this law because 7 people voting for 20 weeks and 7 voting for not outlawing at all is a total of 14, and only 10 people said sentience. So then that could be that could be 14. That could change that law. At the same stance, though, the three that voted for conception would prefer it to be 12 weeks than 20. So those three would be added on to the 10. And then, so just out of those numbers alone, that looks like if we stick with a majority vote wins it, then that would actually change the law. It would become 20 weeks instead of 12 weeks. Now there's three people out of our group that were undecided. So if one or two of them hear the arguments between sentience and viability, and they prefer sentience, then sentience could still take it, but there's a good chance that viability could take it. Yeah, so I'm pointing this out because even though we have it at 12 weeks, I could see how it could easily get pushed to 20 weeks, and I don't even take that stance. I actually prefer the 12-week stance, but this isn't about me. This is about people discussing these topics. So anyways, so at this point, instead of me sending out a list of things to vote on, any lawmaker, including me, but any of the lawmakers from this group can pick a topic, and they can say, I want to vote on this thing that's never been voted on, or they can pick one that has, like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a couple people so me, the person that proposes the law, and then two other people. So there'll be four of us doing a panel debate conversation type thing. And two of us will take one stance on the topic and two will take the other. Not like hypothetically take the stance. Like I will specifically find people that, like if somebody proposes, let's say this viability one. And so I take the sentient stance. So they propose it, so there's them, and then there's me who takes the sentient stance. I'll find one other person that takes the sentient stance, or maybe even the conception stance, and then I'll find a person that either takes the not at all or the viability stance. So out of the two options, leaving it at 12 weeks or voting to change it to 20 weeks, there'll be 2 versus 2 of discussing it. Now, during this discussion, we might be able to convince each other, some of the people in this panel, to change their minds. But also, a big part of the goal would be to get the other 26 lawmakers to watch this discussion, and maybe they'll be swayed on it, especially the undecided people. Because staying undecided would be staying with whatever the current law is. So if you're undecided but you're leaning towards viability, you wouldn't want to stay undecided because undecided will keep it at sentience. But also if there's a topic that's really challenging like this one and you don't know much about it and therefore you don't want to get involved in removing somebody's rights to an abortion or removing somebody's protection for life, either direction, then it might be worth staying out of. So that could be pretty interesting. Okay, and then so that was the abortion one. And so, yeah, so we have a bunch of different topics here: abortion, circumcision, death penalty, all these different things. But you could take any topic that's not in here. And there's going to be a few more added here because we're currently voting on 9 other topics. But anybody can bring up any random topic. Let me just think. Like we're currently voting on what the age of adulthood should be. Now, somebody could say that they think it should be legal for, if adulthood is 18, they could say it should be legal for a 16-year-old to get a tattoo with parents' permission. And so that can be the proposition. And then we'd have a handful of us have a discussion on it that's filmed and it's on the YouTube channel. And then everybody would vote on it. And some people might say, no, you have to be 18 to get a tattoo. And then others might say, yeah, with the parents' permission, 16 is fine. And then we'll add that to it. And we'll just keep growing our laws. And it'll be interesting to see what this society would look like. And I think it'll lead us to learning a lot more. Because we have topics in here, like one that didn't pass was outlawing puberty blockers. And then a couple that did pass was outlawing transgender top and bottom surgery. And so these are complicated topics. some of us might know a bit of the research on the topics and some might not. And so as we get further into this and re-vote on these topics, we can send each other studies and meta-analyses and whatever different things that will lead us to learning more about, what the experts say and what the outcomes are. And yeah, so that should be pretty fun. If you want to see who the lawmakers are, click on lawmakers. And right now we got a list of 30 here. About 20 of these 30 I've been in touch with a handful of times about this project. And this project is brand new. This just started like less than a week ago. And so about 20 of these people are fully on board. The other 10-ish, hopefully they're on board. But I just sent them a list of 15 questions that they told me their stances on, and I kind of threw them into the project. So by the end of like next week, it might be down to 20 or 25 or something. But also there's a few people I'm waiting on hearing back from, so it could be up higher. But once we have a set amount of lawmakers, it'll probably stay approximately that, as long as we have a group of people that are all interested in coming on the podcast and debating these topics and talking about them. We have a wide range of people because I have a vegan channel. Like half of these people are vegan and half are not. So that makes it interesting when we vote on vegan topics. It'll be kind of interesting to see. I've seen a handful of non-vegans vote vegan directions with stuff like outlawing dehorning of cows and branding of cows and stuff like that. And I've seen a handful of vegans that vote to not ban farming completely. So a wide variety of stances, even though there are a handful of vegans in here. And but we got a wide variety of people as far as countries, various different locations. Yeah. So anyways, fun stuff. That's the next plan is if you are one of the lawmakers and you want to propose a law or propose changing one of the laws we currently have, then all you do is shoot me an email and say, this is the law I want proposed. And then I will gather a couple people and we'll set up a conversation. The talk will happen, and then I'll send out the voting of that law. I'll send it to all the lawmakers with a link to the video if they want to check it out. And yeah, the only other thing I want to throw out is I know some people don't use Facebook, some do. I don't use it too much, but I am using Messenger on Facebook for a group message for this project. So if anybody has Messenger and is not in touch with me on Messenger, please get in touch with me because I'd like to get everybody in the group message. If you don't have Messenger and you don't want to get it and you don't want to be part of the group message, that's totally fine. You will still get all the emails and whatnot for the project. I just don't want to feel like I'm overwhelming people with sending too many emails all the time. If you decide you don't want to be part of the project anymore, just let me know. I'll remove your name and remove your vote, and that's totally fine. Yeah, just and if you want to be part of the project but you don't have time to do any talks or anything for a certain amount of time, that's totally fine too. You can just send in your vote. If there's 10 things to vote on and you only want to vote on one, that's fine as well. But yeah, get involved as you want to. So yeah, anyways, that's the project. If anybody has any thoughts or ideas to share, send them in, and yeah, take care.